freelightroomtutorials.com. Easy to follow, easy to learn, designed to inspire. Hey everyone, it's Matthew here from freelightroomtutorials.com doing a quick breakdown on how to use the preset from Preset Guru called Shadowfalls. Now, Shadowfalls is a awesome little preset. It's free, doesn't cost you a cent to use. I know I say that every time, but essentially it's a lot of free content. That's great content. So yeah, hopefully you do utilize that, and you can get some great photos. But yeah, the Shadowfalls preset is a preset designed to do a couple different things. The three things it's mainly designed to do are to add a variety of detail and sharpening to your image. We do that through the clarity tab. So if you see here, here's the before and after of the image, the before on the left, the after on the right. You notice that there's a fairly dramatic difference. The original image started a bit underexposed with a highlight in the top, and obviously we have to adjust for that. Basically, adding clarity and detail makes a huge difference in your image, so you can see what you saw initially. So that's the first thing. It adds clarity and detail to your image. The next one is that it warms up your image. It's designed through your split toning, to allow for your highlights to be a bit warmer and basically allow for any oranges and yellows to be a little bit more vibrant in your image. And the last thing it does is it lightens up your image. The reason why is the initial image I took was of a great little waterfall here, and the problem was that the waterfall I needed to have the waterfall exposed properly, knowing that if I did that, I'm going to have the water the way I want, but unfortunately the rocks were underexposed and I had this crazy sun coming in from the top left. So this preset's designed to lighten up your image. So if you have an image that's starting really bright, it's not really going to work very well. It's more designed for images that are darker, a little underexposed, and obviously adding detail and a little bit of vibrance and so on. So the three main ways that we do this, I sort of alluded to it already, but essentially is through adding clarity through the clarity tab here. So I'm going to go just to my single image here. So if I use the clarity tab, if I go to 0, far left, or double click it at 0 here, you notice that it's a great image. It's a bit flat though. Just the nature of how this works in Adobe Camera Raw. Essentially, the image is there. It's great. It looks the way we want, but I want a little more punch, a little more of a detail to be captured. Not an HDR look, sort of like it, but not really. But essentially, as you add clarity, what it does is it does localized contrast to certain areas of your image. So as I add clarity to the right, as I pull the panel across, you'll notice that I'm getting a lot more detail, and my whites and blacks are much more prominent, meaning there are a lot less midtones, but I have a lot more highlights and a lot more darks. And we're going to zoom in on this rock here just so you can really see what's going on. As I wait for it to populate, there it goes. I pull it to the left to reduce it. You can see it flattens down the image, but I want to add clarity, which is what this preset's going to do. So if I pull it to the right, by adding clarity, you start to see that we start to see a lot more detail happening in that rock itself. So if I go before and after, you notice on the left is the before, on the right is the after, and it does do a dramatic job for adding detail within this image itself. Besides that, the split toning is a great thing. Is what we've done in this image. Split toning, if I turn it off, you'll see that the image is actually processed a bit blue or a bit cool. And the reason why is, if you notice the sun in the top right, it's really dominant, and essentially I wanted to keep that fairly pure because it's a really bright environment, and I wanted to make sure that I don't lose the detail in that. So what I did was I adjusted the image as a whole to be a bit more cool, and then basically added split toning to add more warmth later on. Because if I did it through the white balance, it wouldn't have done exactly what I'm looking for, and it would have added some impurities in the color. And essentially, the last thing is just exposure. A lot of images you take will either be underexposed, properly exposed, or overexposed. So when you get a preset like this, a lot of times people think it's a one-click wonder. Well, it is designed to help tremendously, but hopefully give you guidance towards what you're looking for versus just providing you with all the solutions. Because if I look at this image that we took, it's a great image. It works well. But if I apply the same preset to another image, let's say, just going to hit reset here. You notice that this is my raw image, so it's underexposed. It's definitely going to apply to this preset well. But if I add the Shadowfalls preset, you notice that it looks pretty good. There's some clarity for sure, but you notice this black mark. That's actually a gradient filter, and the reason why is in the original preset, the original image, we have this really bright sky, and essentially if I don't have this gradient on, that sky goes white. So essentially, just being mindful of the different elements of the preset is really important. So the Shadowfall preset does have a gradient to reduce the amount of bright sky. And obviously, you would see that here. It doesn't work because there's no bright sky. So I would just delete the histogram or the gradient filter, and I still get a great image. Besides that, it's a great preset. One of the many presets we have. We've got so many more presets coming up for you for free, and essentially basically building a network of great quality content for you to use Lightroom and hopefully edit some great photos and have some fun with it. So if you get a chance, like the video and subscribe so we can create more content for you, and like it so other people know it exists. If you do enjoy it, please keep watching, and thanks again. My name is Matthew from freelightroomtutorials.com, and hopefully you have a great day. freelightroomtutorials.com. Easy to follow, easy to learn, designed to inspire.